Hello and welcome everyone, this is Calebovitsch coming to you with another episode of Deck Check. Today I will not be doing a very deep thought experiment as I did in the last one with the support of Baleb, if you could call that support, obviously. So this is not going to be another splashing Tazbo into a monofire deck. No. Well, kind of, but we'll get to that later. Also, I would like to point out that this is going to be a very dangerous and unpredictable deck, so take my advice, be wary of your rating if you want to play this one, unless you just want to have some fun or play some casual. This is not going to be an episode about a tier 1 deck, this is just going to be an interesting episode, hopefully. Okay, let's get to the general idea of the deck I would like to talk about today. And this deck is started out kind of as a meme, still as a meme. Started out with me wanting to make some use of a card that no one was using, that is called Talir's Unwinding. This is a 7-cost Aurelian spell with the time primal shadow requirement that it says Voidbound. Sacrifice a unit to shuffle each player's hand and void into their deck. Each player draws 7 cards. This card has been introduced way ago, back in December 2018 in the set called Defiance. And this was the Aurelian counterpart to the tricolor legendaries that have seen some play on again, off again, like Zalchi, like Brel. This one was a bit confusing, a bit overcosted, a bit over-influenced, a bit over everything to be any good, so why not try and build something around it, I said. And alongside Twitch chat, we came to an agreement that the best way, and the funniest, probably the funniest way to use this, is by shuffling Firebombs into an opponent's deck and making them draw a lot of cards so that they explode. Yes, Firebomb. What is a Firebomb, you might ask? Well, dear viewer, a Firebomb is a spell that you put into someone's deck, unless you're playing Cookbook, then you put into your own deck, that has Destiny, which means whenever you draw it, you play it, you get to redraw a card, and it takes its effect. And it says deal 5 damage to yourself. So when we, for example, with Light the Fuse, shuffle 5 Firebombs into the enemy deck, there is a lot of RNG, random number generation, or just randomness, variance, statistics, etc. involved in this one. But in theory, if the opponent draws their next card, it's a Firebomb, they take 5 damage, they draw another card, it's the second Firebomb, they take 5 more damage, they draw another card, and it's the third Firebomb, they take 5 more damage. Then the next card is the fourth Firebomb, which makes them take 4 damage, and the next card is a Firebomb that makes them take 5 damage, that is 25 damage total. And if you remember or not, each player starts with 25 health in this game. So it is possible to win on turn 0.5 when the opponent draws their first card if you start off of playing this on turn 1 when you're going first. That's usually not going to be the case, given that deck in Eternal in Ranked has at least 75 cards. So yeah, that's the highest option for variance, but that's not the only thing that this deck is about. Not just light the fuse and hope the opponents just draw the Firebombs. You have to help them draw the Firebombs. When I was going through these cards, I mean, Spark put a Firebomb into the enemy deck, secretly choose a card in the enemy player's market, it becomes a Firebomb, put Firebombs into your own deck, no, that's not what's gonna happen. And Tomb put a Firebomb into the enemy deck, sure. But we also have 2 other cards that are actually decent in bombing the opponent with some fire, and that is Flame Belcher. Aside from that, Light the Fuse that we are going to talk about as well in a moment. This is a 2-cost fire unit, a Grenadin nonetheless, with 2 attack and 2 health. that has Overwhelm and on Infiltrate, which means if it hits the enemy player for the first time, you get to put 10 firebombs, not 5, 10 firebombs, unfortunately into the bottom half of the enemy deck, which usually will make them draw it after 30 turns. And if you might not know this, but games in Eternal usually don't last that long. So as far as Flame Belcher is concerned, you have to do something also aside just from this to help the opponent draw those firebombs, and that is either by making them shuffle their own deck, a thing that does not occur that often in this game, or mill half their deck. But if you're milling their deck, why not just win with milling their deck, right? And if you're milling their deck and putting cards into their deck, that's I don't know, maybe you should go and see a deck doctor. Oh wait, that's me. Anyway, shuffling the opponent's deck. As far as I know, there are 2 cards in this game that shuffles a deck. One is a legendary time unit called Lumen Reclaimer, the other being the namesake of the deck I will be playing, Talir's Unwinding. The last card, the third card that is going to put firebombs into the opponent's deck, is called Unexpected Results, one of the best Eternal-related podcast names, by the way. It is a 4-cost Skycrag spell that says, transform each copy of a spell of your choice from the enemy deck into firebombs. Which means, no, opponent. You won't be torching my face or my unit's faces. You will be firebombing yourself. A couple of caveats about this card. Doesn't transform cards in the opponent's hand or in their void, which means it is possible. Well, there is an upside to it. If you, for example, play against a deck that you know is playing 4 torches and you see 3 torches in their deck and you somehow do not know yet that they had a stop on 1 fire, you're probably gonna know that they have a torch in their hand. Works with just generally summing up the other spells they might have, but it's obviously a bit experimental and sometimes the results are not 100% go as expected. Okay, so this is the general idea of the deck. But what do we combine this with? Because we are already into 4 colors, Aurelian and Fire, so just Justice is missing. Or is it? About that in a moment. What other kinds of, traps can you put into an opponent's deck? And the answer is yes. And the following answer is, you can put disciplinary weights on the enemy player. That's a cursed relic that says when the cursed player draws an additional card, so each card aside from the first card they draw on their turn, increase its cost by 2. When the opponent is being disciplined by weights, after you play Talir's Unwinding, they get to draw a new hand, but each card costs 2 more. Well, you're in a better position, and that's what this deck wants to do. Another unit that puts some traps into the opponent's deck is Maran Stinger, a 3-cost 2/3 charger in time. That says on Infiltrate, it puts 5 Scorpion Traps into the top 20 cards of the enemy deck. Scorpion Traps are, as Firebombs, spells with destiny that say when this card goes to your void, the enemy player, which is me, because you put it into the enemy deck, plays a 1/1 Scorpion with Deadly for free, which helps with all the aggro decks, and usually that also leaves you a unit so you can sacrifice to your Talir's Unwinding. So you want to generally combo these out. They're in general this is the basic. This is the basic thesis of the deck. I have, up to this date, in the last half year, made, about 11 or 12 versions of this deck. They have been vastly different. I have shown the basic cards that are common throughout all the builds, but the rest usually differs. I'm going to talk about that in a while as well. Usually it was a 4-color deck, but I also made a 5-color deck with Justice, just playing for harsh rules because I thought, I can't win against units. But I don't think that version is great. I wasn't able to build a stable 5-color control deck shell to put the Unwinding plus Firebombs into it as a win condition, so unfortunately harsh rule had to go. The main differences between those all those decks usually were in a couple of spots. First up, it was the power base. I wasn't usually 100% sure on whether the power base I made for one of the versions of this deck was really viable. Usually they revolved around crests in different combinations and seats, and obviously basic sigils with usually some seek powers, etc., etc. But I never seemed to get it right 100%. The main part of the deck is obviously the combo, so I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about where the decks differed. The other difference was removal. Removal that you use because, well, you needed some time to attack the opponent, to give them a couple of gifts that blew in their face, like in the Smurfs. And you had access to 4 colors, so you could have used cards such as Permafrost and or Var's Choice, silence an enemy unit and put it into the enemy hand, and or what's it called? Equivocate, also slowing the opponent's units down. Also, you could have used Display of Instinct and or Display of Knowledge, as the other 3 are using green, unless you were playing that 5-color version. Obviously, cards such as Torch, such as Purify. There is no Putrefy in this game as of yet. Annihilate, Desecrate, everything aids the opponent's units, obviously. Also, there has been some differences when it comes to drawing cards. The deck either just went full-on ham with no card draw, just going for the long game, or just use some blue cards like Strategize and or Wisdom of the Elders, and or the Nightfall mechanic on Lunar Magus, even on Read the Stars, Duskwalker, etc., etc. The last way these decks differed is obviously with the merchants. Not only the smugglers, but the basic merchants themselves. I have used up to this date either Genef merchants or Aurelian merchants or Howling Peak smugglers, but honestly, given that for sure you want your Talir's Unwinding in the market, 1 copy in the market, which means you can use almost any of these, Winchester Merchant and Ixton Merchant and Red Canyon Smuggler are, I think, the only ones that can't get that card from the market. There was also another thing, if you are playing the regular set for merchants, you could play up to 3 copies of Talir's Unwinding main deck with 1 additional copy in the market, while if you're playing with smugglers, there's only 1 copy in the market, unless you're going full on ham with 4 copies main deck. And you are also using you had more options to put in the market. One last card I wanted to also showcase is Black Iron Manacles that has been played in some versions of this deck. At the end of each turn, this is a cursed relic, so we play it on your opponent. At the end of each turn, deal 1 damage to the cursed player for each card that player drew or discarded this turn. So this combos quite well against either greedy decks that draw a ton of cards, or usually when you are playing a mill deck, because milling the opponent is also making them discard cards. from the top of their deck, but it is called discarding, so it works. In this version of the deck, if you have Black Iron Manacles in play on the opponent's hero, obviously, and you play Talir's Unwinding, you make them draw 7 cards, which is already 7 damage, plus all the firebombs that they were able to draw. Congratulations. Okay, enough of this. Let's get to the deck itself. I dub the Praxis Bombwinding or Trap Winding. I mean, these are 2 versions of that name. Anyway. So this is what the current version of this deck looks like. It is, to be honest, and that is what I meant with a bit of a thought experiment, in its heart, this started a couple of versions ago as a full-on Praxis deck, which is Fire Time, that also was playing Talir's Unwinding 3 main deck 1 market, which has a primal shadow requirement. So your power sources, it's aside from Fire and Time sigils, were either Praxis ones, giving me Fire Time, or Feln ones, which means Primal Shadow. I even was and still am playing 4 Feln Strangers just to splash 2 colors into other 2 colors. I think that's quite an innovative approach, hopefully. So, at its heart, this is a Praxis deck that is splashing some Feln cards, straight up Feln cards. So, if you draw one of the Feln power sources, it doesn't matter, because after some time I also put some Primal and or Shadow cards in the main deck as well, because I mean I have the option of playing them, I have the influence to do that. So it doesn't matter if I am splashing for Talir's Unwinding, I need 2 sources. For Banish, I need 1 source. It doesn't matter if it gives me both Primal and Shadow, so of the same source I can splash Banish and... where is it? Unexpected Results. So here I have 7, 11... Feln power sources with 1 universal Memento Mori in the market as well. Okay, honestly, I think this version of the Praxis Bombwinding, patent pending, deck is quite what I wanted to achieve power-wise. This is not the best or end version of this deck for sure. You can make a ton of improvements. I'm just saying that this is a good basis for you to tinker with. But be careful of those exploding firebombs if you want to tinker with it. Anyway, yes, you can mess with the power base a bit. It is currently running 4 and 5 Fire and Time sigils, 11 Praxis sources with 4 crests, 3 banners, and 4 seats, and 7 Feln sources with 3 crests and 4 seats. I am currently not running any Seek power. I was, but it turned out I want to draw non-depleted power sources in my main colors, and I don't need to be running a Primal and a Shadow sigil. I hope I explained that already. These are Feln sources, not Primal or Shadow sources. Okay. So yes, this is at its heart a Praxis deck, with the units needing double fire on 2 or double time on 2 or double time on 3 right now, which is the main reason I made it full-on Praxis. As for the units, we have 4 of Flame Belcher, the unit that puts 10 firebombs into the opponent's deck, 4 Teachers of Humility that plays disciplinary weights on the opponent, and 4 Amaran Stingers that put, Scorpion Traps into the opponent's deck, with 4 Aurelian Merchants making this a 100% time market. I also added Feln Strangers for that power situation, and 4 Lunar Magus as an anti-aggro / draw card kind of mechanism, but not really. I mean, it is a 3/4 that redraws itself, has a very good stat line, you usually can play it, you usually have to time, influence, etc, etc. So these 24 units are the base of the deck. When it comes to spells, we have 4 Light Diffuse that put 5 Firebombs into the enemy deck. We have 4 Unexpected Results that put even more Firebombs into the enemy deck. Fun fact, at first I thought this was just a silly thing. When you put Scorpion Traps into the opponent's deck, you can transform them into Firebombs, which usually means you transform 5 or 10 in the top 20 cards of the opponent's deck. And honestly, a Scorpion is just a lowly 1/1 deadly unit, and a Firebomb is a massive 5 damage, which means you are kind of upgrading Scorpions into Firebombs. You can do it on some occasion, it depends on the game state. Also, you get to know your opponent's deck a bit. So yeah, unit base, I have already said. Merchant, we are choosing the Aurelian Merchant. Card draw, that is Lunar Magus, unfortunately only that. And also those 7 crests are semi-card draw as well, because of the Scout. 3 Talir's Unwinding main deck and 1 in the market because you usually want to draw it after you put some Firebombs into the opponent's deck. And as for removal, I have chosen some cheap ones, and that is 4 of Torch, the usual, 4 of Annihilate, 4 of Purify, and 1 of Banish, mostly because I don't want to put a 28th power into the deck, and I'm running 27 because I don't have that much card draw. I mean, when you play Aurelian Merchant, it ramps. If you Merchant for Memento Mori, it kind of ramps as well, gives you those colors. So yeah, there is that. The Annihilate Banish package is right now kind of fluid, as is the am I playing 2, 3, or 4 Crests of Cunning, and am I playing 2, 3, or 4 Praxis Banners. These are some fluid choices. As I said, this is not the perfect version of the deck, but it is the version of the deck I am running currently. The thing about this that I am satisfied with the least is honestly the market. For my market, there are a couple of cards I need here for sure. One of them being Talir's Unwinding, obviously. Another one being Luminary Claimer, the second card I have mentioned that is able to shuffle someone's deck. It shuffles their Void into their deck as well, so if they already had some traps, works the better. We have Memento Mori. I have this instead of a power card, because this also acts like a slow power card, but also gives you either the Praxis that you might need for your, I don't know, first or second fire or second time, and it also gives you the Feln boost that you might be needing. There is a Xenon Initiation, but now that I'm looking at it, it might be transformed into just a Banish, and I think that would be better. And Disjunction works the same, so you can just take out Disjunction and Xenon Initiation, put in another Banish, get in another card, but honestly, right now, usually I'm just marketing for Memento Mori or Talir's Unwinding, and I usually don't have 3 merchants, because I'm not drawing that many cards. So yeah, this market can be made better, and if you have any suggestions, please put it in a comment below the video. Thank you. A couple of other fun interactions I would like to talk about is the traps, which is the Firebombs and the Scorpion traps themselves. Some decks and or cards that are being played in Eternal right now have some kind of deck building restrictions, and I'm especially talking about A, even-handed Golem, and B, Insignias. Even-handed Golem says that when you summon it, you get to draw 2 cards if you only have even-costed cards in your deck. Well, what if you put 1-cost Firebombs into the opponent's deck? They don't draw those cards, which is, in this case, kind of unfortunate because you want them to draw those Firebombs. Also, the Insignias work that they come into play non-depleted if you only have cards in certain 2 colors in your deck. But if you put some either time traps or some fire traps into their deck, it might mess up their Insignias as well, which is a fun interaction because you want to mess with your opponent, obviously. Okay, to sum up, the deck is super fun. It has a lot of ways to win. Still has a quite low win percentage, but it is above the 10% I was sporting like half a year ago when I was starting on this journey. It is closer to a quarter, maybe. Maybe. Okay, games are very fun though, as you will see shortly. I have prepared a couple of games, have played them already. Now I'm just gonna talk about them, tell you exactly why I'm making some choices, and what is the thought process behind what Calebovitsch is doing. So stay tuned. 3 games coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Click, click, boom. Or maybe doom. Okay, games. And here we have the first game against Unwinding with Praxis Bombwinding against ? This is a very nice hand. It offers us a 2-drop and some 3-drops, with Praxis banner giving us Time and Fire already, and Found Stranger giving us Primal and Shadow to play, for example, that Annihilate. The opponent is thinking a bit, so let me talk about the first 3 turns that are gonna happen. Probably turn 1, Praxis banner, turn 2, Fire Sigil and Found Stranger, turn 3, it will depend on what the opponent does. Could be a Stinger, could be something else. We drew a Torch, which is a great card, especially that the opponent played Fire and Primal, which means they might be... Oh, they are not going into a very unit-aggressive Skycrack, but they are dealing 2 damage to us. Okay, so yes, let's play the Found Stranger. The Miner's Musket is going to hit its face, which is kind of unfortunate, but Found Stranger is honestly just like a Stranger Seek power, kind of, on legs, that has the ability to stop some of the opponent's attacks, and that's what we want, yes. Okay. Fingers crossed the Samaritan Stinger connects, and it does. Okay, so opponent is playing Fire, does not have Torch, must be a holiday. We are putting 5 Scorpion Traps into the top 20 cards of the opponent's deck, not drawing one yet. There is a discounted Gen of Merchant, discounted from the Miner's Musket, and Permafrost on our unit. That is not the worst thing to happen. Another Amaran Stinger, let's go, and let's connect for 5 more Scorpions. And there we go. Okay, so 10 Scorpions in the top 24 cards of the opponent's deck, if I'm counting correctly. So probably some Scorpion Rush. I mean, we don't have to win with just the Firebombs. It also has some other aggressive cards, some traps. Winning with Firebombs is a bonus, but it is not the only way to fly. That is for sure. Okay. Couple of options. We can play Merchant for one of those cards, such as Memento Mori, to help us go a bit faster. The opponent has a Face Aegis, which half counters a Talir's Unwinding we might want to play, but if an opponent has a Face Aegis, it just means that when you play Talir's Unwinding, you are going to reshuffle everything and draw 7 cards, and the opponent, womp, 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 they lose Face Aegis. So we are just going for card advantage and Scorpion advantage, and then you can torch the opponent's face. So that is why my first Merchant... Oh my goodness, that's a lot of Scorpions. 4 Scorpions and probably a Jotun Hurler, or a Joe. Okay, so my first Merchant went for Memento Mori, and that ramps us up, and the second Merchant can go for, let's get rid of that to attack with my armies. And the second Merchant can go for Talir's Unwinding and afterwards. So I probably play Memento Mori and Crest of Cunning first, then Aurelian Merchant, then the last one, then the Talir's Unwinding, and we have a Permafrosted unit. Ooh, there's a Talir Unwinding on top as well. That is quite good indeed. And we can sacrifice the Permafrosted unit. Sure, why not? Okay, opponent, are you ready for this? We are playing Talir's Unwinding. Thankfully, you have your Face Aegis, so you won't be drawing 7 cards instead of the 3 you have, and I will be exchanging my 2 for a fresh hand, fresh hand of 7. Yes. And let's kill that as well. Attack for 4. and have some good options. Also, the opponent, we have gotten rid of the opponent's face Aegis, which is always a bonus. Ixen Merchant without taking anything, okay. So we can just purify, you and I purify, play the Stinger probably, and a Lunar Magus to deal the additional point of damage. No, I think I have chosen something else. We are playing Unexpected Results, and the opponent is actually playing the Invoke the Waystones deck, but I thought to myself, well, honestly, I didn't think. I should have just Unexpected Results the Invoke so they can't win, but exchanging Scorpion Traps for Firebombs seemed like a more funny idea to me at the time. Alright, so what can we get here? We can go for a Maran Stinger and an attack. The opponent goes down, down, down. Down to 2. So we can play Lunar Magus, deal 1 damage to the opponent. They are going to draw an additional card, but okay, okay. And Diogo Malaga, yes, that is the combo. They are giving Invoke Destiny, but they are also losing the game shortly. Like, for example, when I attack with everything right now, and boom goes the dynamite, or the scorpions in this case. So this was more trap winding than bomb winding, but the result is positive. And this is game 2 with Praxis trap winding, Talir's trap winding, Caleb's bomb winding. Oh well. We have 3 power cards. We don't have any fire yet. We wanted to pick up a time source for sure, but there was also the option of getting Merchant for Memento Mori and having that second time and first fire. Now we don't need to play that Found Stranger. We can merge for it, but okay, let's put the aggro onto the opponent's face. Yes. Oh, Dusk Raider. Opponent, you're helping me. Why, thank you. But yes, we gotta get rid of that Dusk Raider so the opponent does not berserk in our face. But yes, the opponent being a big help to us. Also, if they are playing what looks like the more modern version of Haunted Highway, the Nightfall can help us because we do have Lunar Maguses. Yes, another Dusk Raider, sure. And we drew some cool cards. Light Diffuse puts some Firebombs into the opponent's deck. And then I can either play the Time Sigil and Lunar Magus, or I could have played Seed of Cunning and played an Aurelian Merchant. And yes, we are attacking. Obviously we are attacking. We want to deal as much damage to the opponent's face as possible. And click, click, boom, click, click, boom, 10 damage. Okay, that was quite high on the variance in our favor. 2 Firebombs on top of almost 70 other cards. So that was quite a good result. We need 2 more Firebombs or just squeeze some damage in, maybe draw 1 or 2 torches. And we are drawing some additional cards because, yes, the opponent is helping us as well. Gorgon Fanatic, yes, this looks a lot like a Haunted Highway or just a Scream deck. So let's play Unexpected Results. We can browse through the opponent's deck. They probably have a Scream in their hand, but yeah. There are 4 torches, so let's go for all the torches to make the probability, to heighten the probability of them drawing those Firebombs. Flame Belcher is not needed. They already have 7 Firebombs, 6 Firebombs, click, click, boom. In their deck, also additional, and the last one, okay. So that was a high roll, and these are premium, so both of these were actually torches previously. Fun and quick game, nonetheless. Hello and welcome to the 3rd and last game of this video. And, well, this is an unfortunate hand. Just 2 power, nothing to play with that, so let's redraw into a much better hand. Seed into Found Stranger, into Time, into Aurelian Merchant, and we can get some things rolling with unexpected results soon afterwards. So yes, we will also have double Feln for the Talir's Unwinding in our futures. So yes, let's start with that, so that we can play Torch on something, if the opponent has something. Dark side. Let's start the turn, Caleb. Start the turn. Oh, come on. Yawn. Oh, there is Talir's Unwinding here already. I think the next one is going to be Time Sigil and Aurelian Merchant. Torch away for Memento Mori, probably not 100% sure yet, but it is an option. Trailmaker, yes, also an option is just killing the Trailmaker. Offering a trade, killing the Trailmaker. What? They are trading, really? That's a first. So the question is, do I get rid of Torch or Annihilate to get Memento Mori? And right now it is Torch. Let's just hope the opponent does not kill the Merge, or if they do, that we draw undepleted power. And Desert... It's almost like killing the Merge, and it kills our power. A Maran Stinger, yes, that is a decent draw. Let's charge here. Let's charge and let's put those Scorpions into the opponent's deck. Mission successful. Yes, indeed. And there is one Scorpion for us already, and it is always some damage going from now on forward. Scouting is the best way. Scouting and strategizing is the best way for the opponent to be playing Scorpion. Oh, Reweave? Oh, so that's a 3-color Reweave deck. But they are drawing some additional cards, and I'm fine with that. Sure. Also, we can just try and draw power with that Lunar Magus. Attack for 3. I mean, we want the opponent to draw as many cards as possible, so... like the Scorpion Trap here. So honestly, I'm not stopping their Voidbound Golems. Have no intention to. I thought about it for a moment, but let them draw. Let them draw. Oh, Temple Scribe, let them draw. They gain 1, they might lose a Scorpion. And a Crest of Wisdom, and let's see what we draw now. Hopefully a power, an undepleted source. And no, 2 depleted sources. So I think it is a partial attack, and playing one of those, yes, that's the one we need. Fire Sigil might be useful to go for that Talir's Unwinding in a moment. I am attacking with everyone. Ooh, a double block on a Maran Stinger. I can annihilate the 1/1 to kill both of them, but I don't think that's actually necessary. I'd rather keep Annihilate for a bigger threat. Also a question for next turn if I'm going to play Memento Mori or Unexpected Results, but we're gonna see in a moment. I might just play Unexpected Results on those. Crystalline Chalice? Yeah, opponent, draw cards. Draw as many as you need. So, yeah. Right now, after giving it some thought, I am playing this Annihilate because later on I won't be having as much free power as I think I will have. And let's play those Unexpected Results on Scorpions or something else maybe. Royal Decrees. Royal Decrees are a royal pain in the butt. So yeah, let's kill those Royal Decrees and let's play a depleted power source. So that on 6 we can go for Memento Mori and a power. Merge, I do not think we need a merge right now. So yes, we obviously have things to sacrifice to our Unwinding, and that is usually the 0-4 that does nothing. Yes, maybe that Void Golem, Voidbound Golem will attack us. Maybe it will be left for defense. Maybe it will draw a card off of Chalice. We'll see in a moment. But the opponent is for sure playing just a greed deck. Agreed? Agreed. Yes, very much agreed. Okie doke, let's take the opponent down for 5. Equivocate, sure, no problems. And we get Fledgling Avasor, 1/2 Flying Aegis, so it survives. And given that I have a 7th power, I don't need to play Memento Mori. I have enough influence, I have enough everything. So Memento Mori seems like a dead draw from a merchant, but hey, whatever. Even if it's not the best in this game, it is quite good in games in general. And let's draw some cards, shall we? I mean, the opponent has 6 cards, up to 7. We are redrawing 2 into 7. Maybe they'll draw a Firebomb and we'll finish the game right now. Maybe we will just torch and there's a Firebomb, so click, click, boom. And a Scorpion Trap as well. The opponent can, in theory, respond to that in a way. But I think it is just some impending doom on that portrait of Desert Marshal. And a 3, and a 2, and a boom, boom, boom. And there you go. This deck can win in a number of ways. Okay, once again, this is the deck. I hope everything was to your satisfaction. And remember, if you enjoyed this show, just give a big old subscription to this channel and leave a comment in the obvious comment section below. Calebovitsch out, take care, and until next time, hopefully I'll catch you on Twitch as well. See ya.